The birthday candles flicker in the dim restaurant lighting, casting dancing shadows across the untouched glass of Cabernet before me. The tiny flames bend and straighten in the air-conditioned draft, stubborn and bright in a room that suddenly feels far too large. I check my phone for the 11th time in 30 minutes. Still nothing. No missed calls, no texts, no vague apologies about traffic or last-minute delays. My fingernail taps against the screen in a quiet, restless rhythm that echoes the steady tightening in my chest. The minutes stretch, elastic and unforgiving. Should we wait a bit longer for your guests, Miss Lewis? I lift my gaze to the waiter standing politely at the edge of the table. His expression carries a careful kindness, sympathy tucked into the corners of his eyes as they flick from the 4 empty chairs to the small frosted cake centered perfectly on white linen. Just another 15 minutes, please. I manage a smile that feels fragile, like glass held together by willpower alone. It's the 3rd extension I've asked for. We both understand what that means. I smooth the front of my emerald silk blouse, the one I bought impulsively last week when the wire transfer confirmation came through. The fabric glides cool beneath my fingers, luxurious and deliberate. I chose it because tonight was supposed to matter. Around me, Ellison's hums with life. Laughter spills from nearby tables. Crystal glasses clink. A cork releases with a celebratory pop somewhere behind me. The scent of seared scallops and truffle butter drifts through the air. All around me, people gather in warmth and connection, while I sit isolated at my own small island of expectation. 2 weeks ago, I reserved this table at Ellison's, Denver's newest culinary darling. I had just secured $1.2 million in angel investment for Verdant Alchemy Co., the company I built from raw ingredients, stubborn hope, and sleepless nights. 3 years of 18-hour days. 3 years of working from my kitchen counter while jars and droppers crowded every inch of space. 3 years of risking everything, including a second mortgage on my condo. Finally, someone saw the vision. I wanted my family to see it too. Thursday at 7. I'll make reservations for 5. I'd written in the group chat. 3 days of silence. Just confirming dinner this Thursday at Ellison's. Let me know if you can make it. 2 more days. Reserve table for 7 p.m. Thursday. Hope to see everyone there. Nothing. Not from Mom. Not from Dad. Not from Theodore. The familiar ache spreads through my ribs as I sip water, ice clicking softly against glass. It shouldn't sting anymore. I've rehearsed this disappointment since childhood. When I was 16 and Theodore 14, Dad took him fishing in Montana for 2 weeks. I remember standing in the driveway as they loaded the truck, pretending I didn't care. "He's a boy," Dad had said when I asked why I wasn't invited. "He needs investment. You just need stability." Stability became my role. Stability meant co-signing Theodore's $18,000 motorcycle loan at 22, when I could barely manage my own student debt. Stability meant quietly making 6 months of payments when he forgot. Stability meant watching Dad help him install custom pipes while I recalculated my budget for the 5th time that month. I set my water glass down carefully. My family has always been there for me in theory, just not in ways that ever felt tangible, not in ways that made me feel chosen. "Excuse me." I glance up to find a tall man beside my table. Salt and pepper hair, composed posture, tortoiseshell glasses that soften intelligent eyes. His charcoal suit fits him with effortless precision. "I don't mean to intrude," he says warmly, "but I couldn't help noticing it might be your birthday." His gaze gestures gently toward the cake. "It is," I admit, fingers tightening slightly around the stem of my wine glass. "Then may I wish you a happy birthday?" I should deflect. Instead, I nod. "Thank you. Would you mind if I joined you for a moment? Just until your other guests arrive." There is no pity in his tone, only steady kindness. I nod again. "I'm Farah." "Alexander," he replies, settling into the chair opposite me and placing a leather portfolio at his side. "I write about resilience, stories of rebuilding, of becoming." I laugh softly. "Occupational insight?" "Perhaps," he smiles. "The way you sit tells a story. You've known disappointment, but it hasn't hollowed you out." His observation lands deeper than I expect. We light the candles. He asks about my company. I find myself talking, really talking, about sustainable farms, ethically sourced botanicals, the formulation process that took months to perfect. I show him our website, our serum bottles, the clean aesthetic I obsessed over for weeks. He listens with real interest. "Someone should be celebrating your brilliance tonight," he says simply. As I close my eyes to blow out the candles, I let go of the wish for validation. Instead, I wish for strength, for detachment, for the courage to stop waiting for applause from people who never learned how to clap for me. I won't wait for their approval anymore, I murmur. The hardest lesson, Alexander replies, is realizing some people cannot offer what they've never cultivated within themselves. We share cake under warm lights, and for the first time in years, I feel seen. Not as Theodore's sister, not as the stable one, but as myself. 3 years later, sunlight pours across my balcony. The flatirons rise sharp against a brilliant sky. Verdant Alchemy is valued at $35 million. Interviews circulate online. 500,000 views and climbing. Success feels quieter than I expected. More earned than granted. My phone rings. Mom. Farah, honey, Theodore's getting married. We'd love your help. A Lewis family collaboration. Lewis Beauty has such a nice ring. The suggestion floats there, transparent and strategic. My Forbes profile lies on the coffee table like evidence. Then Theodore texts, racing team sponsorship, only $300,000, great exposure. Exposure, as if my success were a spotlight they're entitled to stand in. I open a spreadsheet instead, family financial history. Line by line, I document it all. Motorcycle loan, rent payments, boat repairs, quiet rescues. The total rests at $47,000. Support given without applause, without acknowledgement. This isn't revenge, I whisper. It's clarity. I send an email. Professional, transparent. If collaboration is on the table, let's begin with balance. Mother's reply is swift and furious. Gratitude, sacrifice, accusations. I respond calmly. I was grateful in silence, in money, in tears. Now I'm grateful to myself for finally stopping. A week later, they appear at my office with cake. My staff watches. I guide them into the conference room. The air shifts, charged and familiar. You've changed, Mother says. No, I reply evenly. I've just stopped pretending. Theodore talks about family, about loyalty, about what we owe one another. Family should mean love without invoices, I say. Support without expectation. Celebration without calculation. After all, we've sacrificed for you, Mother insists. What exactly did you sacrifice? Silence. When I needed a cosigner, you declined. When I worked 18-hour days, no one visited. When I celebrated at Ellison's, your phones were mysteriously silent. We're proud of you, she says. I believe you, but pride that appears only after profit feels transactional. I look at them steadily. I will always love you, but this company is not a family withdrawal account. My growth does not obligate me to finance yours. I haven't changed, I counter, remaining standing while they sit. I've just stopped pretending. I'll always love you both, but this company isn't a family ATM. My success doesn't create an obligation. Mother gathers her designer handbag, straightening her shoulders. I see we've caught you at a bad time. Any time you come with expectations rather than genuine support will be a bad time, I reply. They leave with stiff goodbyes and promises to call later. Through the glass walls, I watch them cross the reception area, Mother's back rigid with indignation, Theodore's stride betraying his frustration. When the elevator doors close behind them, I exhale fully for what feels like the first time in an hour. My phone buzzes with a text from Alexander. Coffee after your ambush? Proud of you for standing your ground. Word travels fast. Rachel must have heard from Jessica. Another text arrives from my business partner. Taking the afternoon meetings. Take some time if needed. 10 minutes later, my mentor calls. How are you holding up? She asks, her voice carrying the wisdom of someone who's navigated similar waters. Better than expected, I answer truthfully. That evening, I draft an email declining Theodore's wedding invitation, attaching a generous but appropriate gift card. I create clear guidelines for future communications with my parents. My financial advisor helps establish a trust for genuine family emergencies, not demands. When I finish, I pour a glass of Cabernet and stand at my condo window overlooking Boulder's twinkling lights. For the first time, I understand that boundaries aren't walls built from anger. They're fences constructed with self-respect. Later that night, my phone pings with a notification. Theodore's Facebook status glows on my screen. Some people only care about money, not family. Already, mutual friends are tagging me, the gossip spreading like wildfire. My finger hovers over the keyboard, a dozen responses forming and dissolving in my mind. Then Alexander's text arrives. Remember, your truth doesn't need defending. I set my phone down, choosing dignity over defensiveness. The chapter of apologizing for my boundaries has ended. The story of living with integrity has only begun. 2 days after the confrontation, the cursor blinks on my screen, mocking me. I've typed and deleted the same response 14 times. Theodore's Facebook post glares at me from my laptop. Some people only care about money, not family. Blood used to mean something. I exhale slowly, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The knot in my stomach tightens as friends tag me in comments, asking if there's family drama happening. 3 college acquaintances I've already messaged asking if I'm okay. The living room window frames Boulder's mountains, bathed in early morning light. I've been sitting here since 5 a.m., nursing coffee gone cold, thinking about legacies and lies. I type carefully, reading each word twice before moving to the next. Family isn't a debt. It's a place where love should be unconditional. I hope everyone finds that place, including me. My thumb hovers over post for 8 seconds before pressing down. Done. No lengthy explanation. No accusations, just truth. Within minutes, notifications flood my phone. Friends from business school, former colleagues, even my 3rd grade teacher who somehow found me on social media years ago. Stay strong, Farah. Been there. You're handling this with such grace. This resonates deeply. Thank you for your honesty. I set my phone face down on the coffee table, breathing into the silence of my apartment. Strange how 15 words can feel like shedding a 100-pound backpack. The landline rings, the number I give only to business associates and close friends. Rachel's voice comes through, warm and steady. I saw your post. You okay? Better than I expected. I curled deeper into my armchair, watching a hummingbird dart around my balcony feeder. It feels clean. Clean is good. Rachel pauses. Theodore's gone nuclear in the family group chat. Your mother called me this morning asking if I could talk some sense into you. My laugh comes out sharper than intended. And what did you tell her? That you made perfect sense already. The smile in Rachel's voice gauges. Listen, they're calling around. Your father phoned James from the Chamber of Commerce breakfast group. The hummingbird freezes midair, then zips away as a Chaldo passes. Trying to damage control by rewriting history? Pretty much. Something about how they've supported your business from day one, but you've grown distant since becoming successful. I press my fingertips against closed eyelids until stars appear. 22 investors believed in my company before my parents did. They never even asked what Verdant Alchemy made until the Forbes feature. I know, honey. Just giving you the heads up. Oh, and your mother's church prayer group got an earful about her troubled daughter who's forgotten her values. The familiar weight settles back between my shoulder blades. Right on schedule. After Rachel's call, I shower and dress carefully. Forest green silk blouse, tailored black pants, simple gold earrings, armor for the day ahead. My assistant Emma meets me at the office door, coffee extended like a shield. 3 calls from someone named Theodore. Should I keep blocking? Yes, please. I accept the coffee with a grateful nod. Any messages from investors? Emma's expression shifts. Mr. Harrington from Keystone Capital called, said your brother contacted him with concerns about company stability. He seemed confused. Heat flashes across my face, my fingers tightening around the cup. Theodore actually contacted my investors? The boundary violation staggers me. Call Mr. Harrington back immediately. Schedule a lunch if he's available. 2 hours later, I sit across from James Harrington at Ellison's, the same restaurant where this journey began 3 years ago. The irony doesn't escape me. I appreciate your time, I begin, meeting his gaze directly. I understand my brother contacted you. James nods, leaning back in his chair, his gray eyebrows knit together. Said something about family troubles affecting business decisions. Wanted to warn me. He studies me over his reading glasses. Not very professional. No, I agree. Family and business are separate entities in my world, James. Always have been. Anything. Good. He unfolds his napkin with deliberate care. The quarterly reports speak for themselves, Farah. 28% growth doesn't lie. The knot in my stomach loosens slightly. Thank you for your continued confidence. Your brother seemed entitled to your success. James chooses his words carefully. Mentioned something about family collaboration being owed to him. Aid. Owed. I don't flinch. There will be no collaboration. Smart call. He picks up his menu. Now shall we order? I hear the salmon is excellent. Back at the office, I pull up the application form for the Verdant Foundation, my newest project, supporting young female entrepreneurs. The cursor blinks, steady now, rather than mocking. I fill in the final details, then press launch. Later that evening, I received the notification that my donation to the Colorado Motorcycle Safety Initiative has been processed. $20,000. Anonymous. No press release. No social media announcement. Just quiet action. My phone buzzes with a message from my father. Your mother is devastated. This public humiliation is beneath you, Farah. I set the phone aside without responding and pour a glass of wine. The Verdant Foundation website has already received 12 applications. My inbox contains 3 interview requests from business journals, none mentioning family drama, all focused on company growth and environmental initiatives. When the doorbell rings at 7, Alexander stands there, holding takeout bags. His eyes crinkle at the corners. Thought you might not want to go out tonight. You thought right.
I step aside to let him in. Theodore contacted my investors. Alexander sets the food down, his expression darkening. That crosses every line. They didn't buy it. I pull plates from the cabinet. Turns out consistent professionalism speaks louder than desperate accusations. Of course it does. Alexander unpacks containers of Thai food. Your restraint is remarkable, Farah, Most people would have responded with matching fire. I shrug, but warmth blooms in my chest at his words. Fire just makes more smoke. I'm interested in clarity. We eat on the balcony, watching the sunset paint Boulder's mountains in amber and gold. My phone buzzes repeatedly. Theodore's fiancé now, saying they need to clear the air before the wedding. Thanks for watching, and I doing the clear the setter out matters the wedding. Did you see the comment from Sandra Werner? Alexander asks, refilling my wine glass. Theodore's racing sponsor? No. What did she say? That she's reconsidering their partnership after recent revelations about character. He raises an eyebrow. Apparently your mother's version of events reached her, but backfired. I take a slow sip of wine. I never asked for that. You didn't have to. Truth has a way of finding daylight. As night falls over Boulder, my email pings with a message from my business mentor. Diane, proud of you, leading a webinar next month on ethical business practices. Keynote spot has your name on it if you want it. Later, as Alexander prepares to leave, he pauses at the door. You know they're only escalating because they're losing control, right? I nod. I know. I can feel the cracks forming. Your mother called Rachel again, apparently. Less confident this time. Use the phrase, might have pushed too hard. Something shifts inside me. Not satisfaction, exactly, but vindication. Did she now? And I ran into your father at the coffee shop this morning. He looked contemplative. Said something about wishing they'd invested in your company from the beginning. I lean against the doorframe, suddenly tired. 3 years too late for that realization. Alexander touches my shoulder gently. But not too late for you to live your truth. After he leaves, I sit on the balcony in darkness, laptop open to Theodore's latest group chat message. She's destroyed this family with her selfishness. Below it, a surprising response from his fiancée, Melissa. Maybe we should all step back and think about what we're asking from her. I close the laptop without responding. Tomorrow will bring more accusations, more attempts to rewrite history. But tonight, I've discovered that silence, too, can be strength. Sometimes the most powerful response is simply to keep building while others try to burn. The voicemail from Mother plays for the third time, her voice wavering with practiced vulnerability. Farah, sweetheart, I know things have been strained, but we're still your parents, no matter what. Some bonds can't be broken, even when they stretch. I press delete and set my phone on the kitchen counter. The late sunshine spills through my condo windows, painting warm rectangles across the hardwood floor. Against my better judgment, I picked up the envelope that arrived yesterday. Ivory cardstock with gold foil edging. Theodore's wedding invitation. The handwritten note tucked inside reads, Time for family healing. We miss you, Mom and Dad. My stomach twists. 3 weeks of this campaign now. The carefully timed calls, the texts dripping with apologies, that somehow still manage to acknowledge any actual wrongdoing. Just yesterday, Theodore's fiancée Jessica left a voicemail about building bridges before the big day. Is this seat taken? I look up to find Alexander in my doorway, coat draped over his arm, a paper bag from Spruce Bakery in his hand. My shoulders relax at the sight of him. Only by ghosts and guilt trips, I say, sliding the invitation across the counter. Latest artillery in the reconciliation campaign. Alexander sets down 2 coffees and studies the invitation. Quite the production. The wedding at the Brown Palace? Someone's parents are feeling generous. Or someone's sister is expected to be. I take a grateful sip of the coffee he's brought, dark roast with a splash of almond milk. Exactly how I like it. And what about these? Alexander gestures toward the stack of photo albums on my coffee table. Recent arrivals? FedEx delivery yesterday. Family albums dating back to my 5th birthday, complete with post-it notes marking special memories. I walk over and flip one open to a flagged page. This one says, Remember Christmas 1998? You were so excited about the family tradition. Subtle, Alexander says, his mouth quirking. My phone buzzes with another text. Theodore. Dad mentioned his blood pressure's been high lately. Really hoping you'll reconsider coming to the wedding. Would mean a lot to all of us. Alexander catches my expression. More health concerns? Theodore says Dad's blood pressure's up. I set the phone down. Last week it was Mom's migraines. They're getting creative, Alexander notes, settling onto one of my kitchen stools. How are you holding up? I trace the rim of my coffee cup. I keep thinking I should feel worse about all this. Shouldn't I be torn apart, sobbing over photo albums at midnight? And you're not? I feel tired, like I'm watching a movie I've seen too many times. I meet his eyes. Is that cold? Alexander considers this, the morning light catching the silver at his temples. I don't think it's cold. I think it's clarity. After years of the same pattern, you've stopped mistaking familiarity for obligation. I don't want to hate them, I say quietly. Boundaries aren't about hate, they're about health. Alexander's voice gentles. You can forgive someone without resuming the same relationship. Something shifts inside me at his words, a tightness loosening. Forgiveness without restoration? Exactly. You can acknowledge the love that exists while recognizing its limitations. Alexander sips his coffee. What would a healthy relationship with your family actually look like? I've never really considered this question before.
My options always seemed binary: give them everything or sever all ties. But perhaps there's middle ground, territory I can map myself. Limited contact, I begin slowly. Scheduled interactions in neutral public places. No business entanglements. And clear expectations of mutual respect. Alexander nods. That sounds reasonable. But will they accept it? Theodore's is soon. The question isn't whether they will accept it, Alexander says. It's whether you can enforce it regardless of their reaction. I straighten my shoulders. I can. Later that evening, with Alexander's perspective still fresh in my mind, I draft an email to my family. No accusations, no itemized lists of past wrongs. Just clear, forward-facing boundaries. I outline the terms under which I'm willing to attend Theodore's wedding and maintain a relationship moving forward. When I finally click send, something shifts inside me. Not the weightlessness of escape, but the solid certainty of choosing my own path. On the wedding day, I stand in the glittering ballroom of the Brown Palace Hotel, a glass of champagne cooling my palm. The wedding ceremony concluded 30 minutes ago, and now the reception swirls around me, distant relatives circulating like curious fish, friends of my parents eyeing me with speculation. Alexander stands beside me in a charcoal suit, his presence a steady anchor. Theodore approaches, champagne in hand, his new wife Jessica beside him. You made it, he says, surprise evident despite our email exchanges confirming my attendance. And you brought a date. Alexander, I introduce simply. Congratulations to you both.
Jessica, thank you for coming, Farah. Your gift was so thoughtful. The leather-bound financial planning book and modest check, generous but appropriate, sit alongside crystal vases and silver serving trays on the gift table. The card attached reads, "Wishing you a partnership built on mutual support and respect. Love, Farah." Farah. Theodore shifts uncomfortably. Listen, Farah, about the racing team. Alexander's hand touches my waist lightly, a subtle reminder of our agreement. I would attend for 3 hours maximum, with no business discussions. Today is about your marriage, Theo. I interrupt gently. Let's keep it that way. Theodore's jaw tightens momentarily before he nods. Right, of course. He glances at Alexander. So how did you two meet? Over birthday candles, Alexander answers smoothly, saving me from having to explain that night 3 years ago. We exchange a few more pleasantries before they move on to greet other guests. I exhale slowly. Holding up? Alexander murmurs. Better than expected. I scan the room, though Mother has been circling for the past 20 minutes. As if summoned, she appears at my elbow, elegant in pale blue chiffon, her perfume a cloud of gardenias and expectation. Darling, could I steal you for just a moment? Her smile includes Alexander, excluding him simultaneously. Family matters. I meet Alexander's eyes. I'll be right back. Mother guides me to a quiet alcove near the dessert table, her fingers light but insistent on my arm. Once we're alone, her smile dims. You look lovely, Farah. She begins. But I must say, your father and I were hurt by that email. Setting terms for attending your own brother's wedding. It felt very cold. I take a careful breath. I needed clarity about expectations. We're family, she says, as if this single word should override all other considerations. Family supports each other without conditions. That support should flow both ways, Mom. My voice remains steady. I love you, but I've learned to love myself too. Something flickers in her eyes. Frustration, perhaps, or the first recognition that her tactics no longer work on me. Your father and I won't be around forever, you know. I know, I say gently. And when you need me, truly need me, I'll be there. But what you're asking for isn't need. It's entitlement. She stares at me, this daughter who no longer bends to guilt. You've changed, Farah. I have, I agree, but I still love you. I check my watch. We've been at the reception for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Alexander and I should be going soon. Early meeting tomorrow. Mother opens her mouth as if to protest, then closes it again. For the first time in my life, I see her accept a boundary I've set without pushing against it. Will you call next week? She asks, her voice smaller than I'm used to hearing it. Sunday afternoon, I confirm, for 30 minutes, as we agreed in the email. As we rejoin the celebration, I spot Theodore watching us from across the room. Our eyes meet, and something passes between us. Not warmth exactly, but perhaps the beginning of respect. He raises his glass slightly, a gesture both acknowledgement and surrender. Alexander's hand finds mine as we make our way toward the exit. Ready? I look back once at my family. Mother, returning to father's side, Theodore dancing with his bride, the constellation of relatives and friends, spinning in their familiar orbits. They will continue without me tonight, and I will return on my own terms another day. Yes, I say, squeezing Alexander's hand. I'm ready. A year later, the birthday candles flicker in my kitchen, casting a warm glow across. The faces gathered around my Marble Island counter. Alexander stands beside me, his shoulder brushing mine as he adjusts his glasses and smiles. Rachel raises her wine glass, the ruby liquid catching the light. To choosing your family and your future, she toasts, her voice steady and sure. The small gathering, 5 people who genuinely want to be here, erupts in cheers. My heart swells as I survey my home, filled with the gentle hum of conversation and laughter. No empty chairs, no checking my phone every 5 minutes, no brittle smile pasted on my face. Make a wish, Alexander whispers, his breath warm against my ear. I close my eyes, but for once I struggle to think of what to wish for. My business hit a $45 million valuation last quarter. The entrepreneurship book Alexander and I wrote sits proudly on my coffee table, its cover embossed with gold lettering. And most importantly, the gnawing ache of family disappointment has faded to a distant memory. I blow out the candles in one decisive breath. Same restaurant as 4 years ago, Rachel observes, cutting into the chocolate cake. But completely different energy. Different company makes all the difference, I reply, accepting a plate from her. Later, as guests mingle in my living room, I slip away to my study. My leather-bound journal waits in the desk drawer where I left it this morning. I trace my fingers over today's entry. Love doesn't require sacrifice of self. These years of therapy helped me understand that boundaries aren't walls. They're healthy fences with gates I control. My family and I maintain a cordial relationship now. I attend holiday dinners when it feels right. Theodore brings his wife. My parents ask about my business without suggesting how to run it. We've found a balance. I can love them without surrendering my peace. The doorbell chimes. A young woman named Jessica stands on my threshold, clutching a notebook. She's one of 5 entrepreneurs I mentor through my foundation. Sorry to crash your party, she says, twisting her hands nervously. But I've been offered a partnership with my father's business, and I don't know how to tell him I want to build something of my own. I usher her inside. Family business pressure? She nods, eyes downcast. He's invested so much. I feel obligated. Obligation and love are different currencies, I tell her, pouring her a cup of coffee. One depletes you, the other fills you up. As I guide Jessica through separating her father's dreams from her own, I realize how far I've come. The woman who once paid off her brother's motorcycle loan without complaint now teaches others to honor their own worth. My talk show appearance last month resonated with thousands. Forgiving someone doesn't mean letting them hurt you again, I'd said, watching the studio audience nod in recognition. Those words became a lifeline for people struggling to break free from toxic patterns. In the kitchen, Alexander lights a single candle on the remaining slice of cake. We blow it out together, our fingers intertwined on the counter. Our book, dedicated to dreamers who find themselves alone at pivotal moments, has already helped countless others recognize their own worth. Do you ever wish they had shown up that night, years ago? He asks, referring to my lonely birthday when we first met. I shake my head, a soft smile playing across my lips. No, because if they had, I might never have met the man who taught me that kindness can come from anyone, even a stranger. Later, we stand on our balcony, watching the sunset paint the skyline in strokes of amber and gold. City lights begin to twinkle one by one, like stars emerging in an urban sky. Alexander appears with 2 glasses of Cabernet, the same wine I ordered that fateful night. Any regrets about your journey? He asks, handing me a glass. I take a sip, savoring the rich complexity. Sometimes the loneliest birthday becomes the first gift of freedom, and the beginning of a beautiful connection. The wine tastes of celebration now, not solitude. As darkness settles over the city, I realize that the birthday candles that once burned alone now light a path forward, surrounded by people who choose to be present, not merely obligated to appear.